10 factors that impact pricing in international markets. There are many factors to consider when pricing a product for international distribution. The following are 10 factors that I believe are important. Cost of manufacturing. How much is it going to cost to distribute and market the product? This includes advertising and packaging of the product. In addition, it also includes the cost of wages paid to employees to produce the product. In some countries, the wages paid to workers are substantially lower than in other countries. A product would have a lower production cost in a country with lower wages. Physical location of production plant. Is the product going to be produced locally or is it being produced in a foreign country? For example, land may be cheaper in a foreign country than it is here in America, and this means that the product can be made at a lower cost in that country than here. Other considerations might be the availability of raw materials to produce the product. These materials may be more abundant in one country than in another. Then there's the issue of transportation costs. For instance, it may be more cost effective to locate the production facility closer to our target market so that our costs for transportation are minimized, for example. Currency exchange rates. What is the exchange rate between the market country and ours? A historical example of this was hearing aid companies in the 2010s. U.S. export companies were benefiting from a relatively low U.S. dollar price during the 2010s. Most hearing aid companies, however, were based in Europe, and therefore the high value of the Swiss franc and the euro relative to other currencies had to be considered. This made imports into the U.S. from these countries extremely favorable for American companies. The reverse was true as well, and that is, it wasn't favorable for European countries to import American-made hearing aids because of the exchange rate during that period. Price international consumers are willing to pay is another consideration. Still yet another one, regulations. Regulations and laws in the countries that the product will be sold in must be considered. When setting prices in other countries, companies must research all national regulations relevant to their product, as many countries set price ceilings as well as price floors on certain products. Next, we have cultural differences. How members of certain cultures perceive the value of a product. For example, some cultures do not value amplification products and they are seen with significant stigma. Thus, hearing aid prices can be greatly affected depending upon whether a manufacturer's device is large and bulky or small and barely visible. Price competitors are charging. What are the local competitors charging for similar products can play a part in determining the cost of any new products. Business environment. Factors like government policies and taxation are part of the business environment. Local inflation and economic trends are also considered a part of this business environment. National market size. How big is the potential market for our product? A large market might mean a lower per unit cost as the company hopes to make a profit based on volume. Consequently, a small market might mean that a higher price is needed in order to produce a profit. Manufacturers' business objectives. For example, large international companies such as Starbucks may be willing to operate at a loss in some locations because they need a local presence to maintain their economies of scale as well as their reputation as a global player.